Thanks, Chantel. As mentioned, Cassie Harrington, she, her pronouns. I'm the Associate Director of the Advanced Cybersecurity Experience for Students program, also known as ACES. I'm excited to talk with y'all a little bit about ACES today, give a little bit of an overview, and then you can ask all of the questions, many of which will be answered by some wonderful current ACES students who have kind of the firsthand experience and knowledge you're looking for. So we'll get into it. So probably best to start with a bit of an overview. What is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is comprised of an evolving set of tools, risk management approaches, technologies, trainings, best practices, all designed to protect systems, networks, devices, and data from attacks, damage, or unauthorized access. So when we're talking about cybersecurity within the ACES program, we're talking about all of those different pieces, both technical and non-technical approaches to cybersecurity. So our alumni from the ACES program do a variety of different jobs. They're software engineers, business analysts, researchers, cyber advisors and consultants, software developers, systems development engineers, data scientists. They're doing a lot of different tasks with cybersecurity as a part of their focused work. They work at Northrop Grumman, at NSA, at Microsoft, Tesla, at Meta, Amazon and AWS, Capital One, Google, IBM, JP Morgan Chase, the Department of Defense, PayPal. So our alumni go on to do some pretty incredible things. A little bit about ACES. It was founded in fall of 2013. It is the first honors cybersecurity program in the nation. We're pretty proud of that. It is a multidisciplinary approach to cybersecurity. When I say that, I mean we cover not just technical aspects of cybersecurity, but also policy and human-computer interaction pieces that are really important to ensuring the defense of our systems and data. It is a 2+2 program. So tonight we're here to talk about the ACES Living Learning program. We'll be doing kind of a deep dive into that, but the ACES program does also include a minor that's generally designed for 3rd and 4th year students. If you're interested in the Living Learning program and want to continue on into the minor, you can certainly apply for the minor as you progress through your undergraduate years. If folks have questions about that, I'm happy to answer them. But again, we're going to focus on the Living Learning program this evening. There are approximately 170 LLP students, about 85 first-year students and 85 second-year students in the LLP currently. And there are approximately 200 ACES minor students on campus currently. So when you're joining the ACES program, you're joining a vast network of students who are focusing on cybersecurity from their first year in college the entire way through their senior year. The ACES program provides curricular and co-curricular opportunities for a community of diverse students to explore the cybersecurity workforce, develop leadership skills, and become innovators in cybersecurity through applied experiences. There are a lot of things that I could say about the ACES program. There are a lot of things I will say about the ACES program as we go through the presentation tonight. But I think I'll let some students do it better to kick us off.
ACES. ACES is the Advanced Cybersecurity Experience for Students. Students get hands-on experience with technical and non-technical aspects of cybersecurity. They have access to experts in the field and learn skills that cybersecurity companies look for. But what do the students think? What is ACES?
ACES is an opportunity. Funky fresh.
Living in the best dorm on campus.
Amaze beans.
Community.
Engaging.
Family.
Organic.
Turning your friends into memes.
Wholesome.
Staying up late just to talk to friends.
Fashionable.
A family.
A struggle. Together.
Out of this world.
Spicy.
Suave. Fluffy. Innovative.
3 a.m. pizza runs.
A lifestyle.
Great.
ACES is me, and I am ACES.
ACES is in me, and I am an ACES.
The mood.
Happy.
A supportive and fun community.
So as you can see, ACES is many things. And I'm biased, but I think all of them are pretty great. I'm also excited to introduce you to some of our ACES leadership today, starting with our director, Dr. Michelle Cuquier, who is a professor in reliability engineering here at the University of Maryland. We've already met, so you can see me there on the screen. Lindsay Schrott, who's our program coordinator for the Scholarship for Service program in the ACES minor. Raina Aurora, who's our graduate assistant. And then Sarah Herberger, who's our program coordinator for events and communications. Great. So ACES is filled with unique opportunities. I want to touch on some of them a little bit more in depth today. The first of those are our leadership opportunities. The first of the leadership opportunities I want to talk about is our ACES student board. So when you join ACES, you can apply to be a part of our ACES student board. We have positions for first-year students and then also some second-year students who serve on that student board, and they provide educational and social opportunities for students throughout the year. So everything from like Halloween or holiday parties to GIT workshops and behavioral interviewing workshops. Currently, they're also planning an end of the year bonanza. So lots of fun, exciting things coming from the student board that you could be a part of as well. We also have some TA opportunities, so you can serve as a teaching assistant for ACES courses and give back and help other folks to learn. And so those are both really wonderful opportunities to gain some experience in planning and implementing and project management, in teaching and instruction to carry with you into your future. We'll talk more about the coursework in just a minute, but our coursework in ACES is multidisciplinary. It includes foundation courses, seminars, and experiential learning. It is 15 total credits. Part of those credits, as I mentioned, are experiential learning, which is required for all ACES students. For the Living Learning program, experiential learning can either be an internship that you complete that's related to cybersecurity combined with a reflection course, or a research project related to cybersecurity. We have some events throughout the year to help folks take advantage of and find those opportunities, including our career fair with our corporate partners, as well as a research fair with faculty across UMD who are doing really incredible research related to cybersecurity. So we try to make it easier to take advantage of those experiences within the ACES program. Corporate engagement is also a huge part of the ACES program. I'll introduce you to some of our ACES partners in just a few minutes, but our partners join us for Cyber Connect, our mentoring program, where students are paired either one-to-one or two-to-one with a mentor from the cybersecurity workforce to get advice on resumes and interviewing, maybe even a referral if you're applying for their organization. They also serve our partners as course instructors, so you'll see workforce professionals teaching ACES coursework. That means that you're getting kind of the freshest take on cybersecurity because people are teaching you what is actually being implemented in the workforce currently. And you'll also interact with our corporate partners at professional development events. We have a Tech Talk series where workforce professionals come in and present on hot topics in cybersecurity. They're also generally available for other types of opportunities, our Diversity in Cyber conference that happens each year. So you will definitely meet them and interact with them quite a bit. The last piece is, as you saw from the video, ACES is an engaged community. There are a lot of social, educational, and professional development opportunities that you can be a part of. We have a partnership with the Cybersecurity Club on campus to enhance competitions that you can participate in. So lots of really, really wonderful ways to meet people, make friends, form study groups, and generally have a pretty positive time. So I mentioned the coursework a little bit. Again, 15 credits, you need to have that 3.2 cumulative GPA to earn the ACES citation. And we do have those three different kind of buckets of courses. The first are those foundational courses. Those are courses that every student in the ACES LLP needs to take. You would take HACS 100 in your first year fall semester, HACS 101 in your first year spring semester, and HACS 200 in your second year fall semester. You'll also take 2 seminars. Those are our HACS 208 courses. We have seminars in policy, in accounting and economic aspects of cybersecurity, reverse engineering, security incident handling, solving and not solving puzzles. So you have some different areas to choose from based on what is most interesting to you. And then we already talked a little bit about experiential learning, either internships or research that you complete related to cybersecurity to round out those 15 credits. As mentioned, I want to introduce you to our ACES corporate partners, our founding partner, Northrop Grumman. We also have close partnerships with the National Security Agency, Workday, Amazon Pay, Live Action, Cisco Talos, Boeing, and the CyberCore Scholarship for Service program through the National Science Foundation. So there are, again, a lot of opportunities to meet both public and private industry partners, interact with them, and potentially have internships with those organizations. Again, they come into our career fair and have some opportunities for ACES students, which is a really excellent way to kind of start your career and get some of that professional networking in as well. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Prince Frederick Hall this evening. Prince Frederick Hall opened in August 2014. It includes student residential space, ACES staff offices, our Northrop Grumman cybersecurity lab, and several classroom spaces where our LLP courses are housed. ACES LLP students are required to live in Prince Frederick for 2 years while they complete the LLP coursework. So it is required to live in Prince Frederick. We also have a really excellent space called ACES North in the John S. Toll Physics Building on campus. That space opened in August 2021. It has some classroom space, several staff offices, and individual and group study space, as well as coffee and tea, and in the summer, whenever it's warm, freeze pops for students. So it's a pretty nice space, closer to some of the other academic buildings on campus. You can pop in between classes and just hang out, relax, or again, get some of that studying in as well. Okay, and that's enough of me kind of talking. That's the general overview. If you have other questions, you can certainly check out our website, aces.umd.edu. But now it is my absolute pleasure to open the floor for questions. Y'all are welcome to drop those into the chat, and then they will be answered by our very special current student guests, who I will ask to introduce themselves now. Anushka, do you want to kick us off with an introduction?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Anushka. I'm she, her pronouns, and I am a freshman computer science and math major in the ACES Living Learning program.
Hi, my name is Gianfranco. I am a computer science, I'm a major in computer science, and I'm also a freshman, and I'm hoping to pursue the ACES minor. It looks like we already have a couple of questions to go off.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me stop sharing my screen so that we can all see each other. Okay. So it looks like our first question is, can we talk more about the cyber minor? I'll kick it off, but Anushka and Gianfranco, if you all have things that you know about the minor that you want to share too, that's great. As I mentioned, it is a 2+2 program. So the LLP is kind of those first 2 years. The ACES minor would be those second 2 years. Some students do just the LLP. Some students on campus do just the ACES minor, and some students do both the Living Learning program and the minor. Gianfranco was kind of mentioning he's interested in pursuing. So the minor is 16 to 17 credits. It is a part of the ACES program, but it is separate from the ACES Living Learning program. So you would need to apply to the ACES minor, but because you're already completing the ACES LLP, if you're in the LLP, we have internal ways through our regular communications that we make sure that LLP students know about the application being open and invite them to apply. And you also will have access to any information that you would need about those courses as well. Similar to the LLP, the minor has foundation courses, elective courses, and experiential learning options. Those courses are just a little bit different in nature, a little bit more in depth because they're a higher level of coursework. And generally, if you're majoring in computer science, the ACES minor also can fulfill your upper level concentration for computer science. Anything I missed there, Anushka, Gianfranco, that you want to add in about the minor?
No, except for the fact that students can apply a little bit earlier if they have some university credits. I believe it's 30 university credits you need. So By the end of your freshman year, if you take 30 credits, you could apply even earlier and get get that minor immediately as a sophomore.
Yep.
Let's see, we got another question that says, can you talk about the ACES lab? So the ACES lab, I believe, is the lab sponsored by Northrop Grumman, and that lab is generally going to be used for seminars, I believe, more specifically for reverse engineering. So to take the reverse engineering course, you're most likely going to have to take a prerequisite, which is CMSC 216, which covers C. And at that point, you'll be able to enter in the ACES lab and mess around with some of the servers there and some of the tools that are unique and not found across campus, really, that is more specifically found within Prince Frederick. And to clarify, a lot of your classes that you take as part of the ACES LLP program will be taken here in the same building in Prince Frederick where you live at. So it's really nice, and so you could just wake up and go to class immediately, which is like first floor downstairs. You want to handle the next question, Anushka?
Yeah, so there's another question. Someone's asking about the size of the program per total year. It's around 80, it's 85 students, first year students, and 85 second year students. So it's a pretty good sized program. And yeah, I'll go on to the next question since that was pretty short. Yeah, how do we go about scheduling a visit to the ACES program? I'm not too sure about that, Cassie, if you want to take that. Yeah.
Yeah, so Chantel can interrupt me if I don't get this one quite right, but we do not do particularly special visits to the ACES program, but you can potentially participate in a host a day. Is that still an option, Chantel?
Yep, you're correct. So we do not do tours within the Honors College. You're welcome to come visit us at our home base, which is Anne Arundel Hall, to have chats with us. Also, you can do a Terrapin tour through the Office of Undergraduate Admissions to kind of go through the different facilities and buildings on campus. And that's about it. And then the host a day, of course, is when you sign up to shadow a current student. You can do that. And that information is on our website. I can put the link in the chat if you guys are interested.
Thanks, Chantel.
Yeah, and so there's a question asking about the class sizes and if they are first come, first serve. At least with the courses I've taken so far, which are the introductory HACS 100 and HACS 101 classes, you're basically assured a spot in the class since they are required coursework for the first year. And the class sizes are generally pretty small. You got a chance to know everybody. My current class right now is around 45 students, and HACS 100 was smaller, so I believe around 30 students. So they're pretty small classes compared to maybe some of the lectures you see. So it's a really good experience.
And on top of that, you're also able to register as seminars for the seminars as a freshman. I was able to register for a seminar for my fall semester freshman year, and it was pretty. Isn't that? You're basically, as Anushka said, you're guaranteed a spot. And you shouldn't need to worry about completing your requirements when it comes to completing your ACES classes, as long as you actually try to complete them. As long as you register, you're fine. There will be spots available. We got next question. It says, how does ACES differ from the general cybersecurity major at the College of Engineering? Would being put in letters and sciences have any effect? I don't recall there's a cybersecurity major unless it's like a graduate. So is there a cybersecurity major, Cassie?
So the computer science major has a cybersecurity concentration that you can enter, and then the College of Engineering does have a graduate major in cybersecurity. The ACES program is a little different from both of those. They are quite technically focused, whereas ACES is taking that multidisciplinary approach to cybersecurity. So there will be technical skill sets. Absolutely, you're going to be learning some Unix and potentially some reverse engineering, but then there are also the other ethical pieces of cybersecurity and policy and security incident handling that round out the experience in a different way than the major options at the university do.
Yeah.
But being in letters and sciences is totally fine. We welcome students from any and all majors. Cybersecurity is for everyone. And so being in letters and sciences is great.
And in fact, I came in as letters and sciences. So and nothing has changed for me. I'm on track, if not even further than some of my cohort students, just because I've been putting in the work to register for my seminars. So I'm currently on track to even turn my citation a little bit earlier, but not that much. But again, to reiterate, no effect. Don't worry about it. Next question says, can you live in an apartment on campus after your first year while still being in ACES? As Cassie has stated, you have to live in Prince Frederick for 2 years. I don't recall any exceptions where someone has been able to live off campus, unfortunately. Sorry to say, but Prince Frederick is still one of the nicest dorms on campus anyway. Besides Pyeongchang and Johnson Little, those are the top 3 dorms. And if not, just to clarify, I love Prince Frederick, honestly. The building here is just so nice. And you even have your own kitchen. Like just the other day, I was just eating dinner with some of my friends who was cooking kitchen downstairs on the first floor. It was awesome.
Yes, unfortunately, we do not allow students to live anywhere else. You must live in Prince Frederick Hall for the 2 years that you're completing the ACES LLP citation and coursework. If you don't want to live on campus, ACES is probably not the right program for you. So it's something to weigh. We hope that you'll still consider us, but we understand that you have a lot of things to think about. So you do need to live on campus. Important distinction.
Yeah, so another question. After the 2 years in Prince Frederick, dorm, do some upperclassmen continue to stay at Prince Frederick, or do they have to find housing elsewhere? So it is my belief that you have to find housing after your sophomore year. I'm not sure if this is true, but if you decide to RA, are you guaranteed housing, or is that not true? I'm not sure.
If you apply and are accepted to be a resident assistant, that's not going to guarantee you housing in Prince Frederick, but if you're accepted to the position, you would have to live on campus somewhere. Generally, upper division students can still live on campus, but they will not be placed in Prince Frederick. There are some really wonderful options for upper division students to live on campus if you want to stay on campus, but Prince Frederick is pretty full with several different living learning programs, and so that housing would not be in Prince Frederick after the second year.
Yeah, so another question. I've heard from several people that the living learning community are a great way to try out a topic that isn't my primary focus or find a minor. Looking into ACES, it seems a little more hardcore than the other communities. Do you still recommend going ACES, even if my primary focus might be something like history? My answer to that is, of course, if you have any interest in cybersecurity, ACES is still a great program. It's definitely not, a whole lot more workload on top of what you already have to do. And even though ACES kind of has the reputation for being mostly like STEM majors and CS majors, I think that's just the nature of people. I think that's I guess people it's just a tendency for CS majors to pick something related to CS, like honors program. I guess that's just a tendency, but if you have an interest in cybersecurity, definitely consider applying. Yeah.
There's a question skipped over. It says, can you take the minor without the LLP and vice versa? So yes, you can take the minor without the LLP if you choose to do so. However, do note that the LLP provides like a great foundation to help you take the minor. So it provides a very nice background in Unix, which you'll be using a lot in the LLP, because you also have a big project in the LLP. I'm not sure. I think it's similar to the honeypot, but regardless, the background is really nice. But vice versa, you can also just take the LLP and not take the minor if you choose not to do so. If you feel like it's not your thing, that's absolutely fine. You'll still have a citation to graduate with. Next question is, how difficult is it to switch out of ACES into another LLP or the general honors dorms if you find yourself unhappy with the decision? So I believe this becomes the question is whether there are other spots in the other honors programs. I'm not too familiar with how the transition works. However, there are some students that have managed to transfer out of ACES into other LLPs. Chantel, do you want to handle this question since you might know better?
Yep. So basically, at the end of your freshman year in the spring semester, if you are unhappy in your program, you are welcome to apply to another living learning program. It is contingent on program approval and space availability.
Thank you. And then next question is, the coursework more software or hardware focused? I'm interested in robotics and mechanics and want to know if ACES is a good fit for these interests. So far, what we have covered is just mostly software focused. Nothing really hardware as of now, but that might be because of the lack of classes I've taken. Cassie, do you know if there's any hardware focus as well?
I would say it is more software focused, but I definitely think that folks that are interested in robotics, mechanical engineering, and those types of things definitely have a place in ACES. As I mentioned, our director is a faculty member in mechanical engineering. And so we definitely have aspects of the program that are designed to support more hardware focus if that is something that you're interested in. So it's both, but I would say it probably leans a little bit more software focused. But know that if those are your interests, you have a place in ACES.
Yeah, so I see a question about the gateway coursework to transfer to the computer science major at UMD. I was also in letters and sciences, so I could also answer that question. But basically, you're as long as you get a high GPA in both CMSE 132, 131, and then math 140, I believe, you're guaranteed a spot in the program. You just have to maintain a C- or above in all of that coursework, and then you apply at the end of the semester once you finish your gateway coursework, and then you have to wait a bit after registration opens. I registered like a couple of days before the semester started, after I got in, but yeah, basically after you complete those gateway courses, you're guaranteed a spot in the major.
There's a question here about the Scholarship for Service program. And the question is largely, can first-year students apply, and is it a selective process? So I'll talk just briefly about the Scholarship for Service program. It is designed for students in the ACES minor. So in order to be a part of the Scholarship for Service program, you need to first apply and be accepted into the ACES minor program. So that means that you need to complete at least 30 university credits prior to applying. So generally, you wouldn't be able to apply until at least the spring of your sophomore year, or the spring of your first year, if you're in the LLP. Spring of your sophomore year if you are not participating in the ACES LLP. And the Scholarship for Service program provides a stipend as well as tuition and fees, a course materials allowance, and a professional development budget for students while they're at UMD completing their coursework. And then they complete a subsequent amount of service to federal, state, local, or tribal government for the same number of years that they received the scholarship. So if you receive the scholarship for 2 years, you work in federal, state, local, or tribal government for 2 years after graduation. If you get the scholarship for 3 years, 3 years after graduation. And that's through a grant through the National Science Foundation. So you can't apply as a first-year student. It is a pretty selective process, but we would definitely welcome folks in the Living Learning program to apply in the spring of their first year.
All right, jumping over a few questions because someone has a question specific for me. This person asked if that they know that I studied in letters and sciences. How do gateway courses work to transfer into a general computer science major at UMD? So while this question is a little bit more unrelated to the ACES overall, I'll still answer it. The gateway courses, as long as you pass computer science 131, 132, and I think math 140, math 141 with a C- or higher, you have the opportunity to apply again to the computer science program. However, I cannot. It's not. If I recall correctly, it's not guaranteed, unfortunately. So unless you got to perform well, essentially, that's what I'm saying. But I don't think it's guaranteed, unfortunately. So high hopes. Hopefully, I get into that. And then going back, there's a couple other questions I skipped over. This person said, what is the best surprise you've had at the program? Honestly, I love the community here. I did not think I'd be so involved with this community here. I was really an introvert, to be honest. I didn't expect myself to come out out of my room a lot, but you'll find a lot of people that mesh well with with what you like about. You'll find a lot of people that share your interests, and soon enough, you'll find yourself out of your room hanging out with those people all the time. Typically, I spend most of my time studying, hanging out, and just enjoy my weeks, days here at the university with people I see all the time at the LLP, from the LLP. You want to handle the next question?
Yeah, sure. Would you say that the workload can get overwhelming if you're doing ACES LLP alongside a double major? I'm looking to do CS with astronomy as a second focus, and I'm not sure if I will do it as a minor or a double major. I would say, I mean, at least from my experience with the classes I'm taking right now, it's definitely not an overbearing amount of work on top of the coursework I already have for, doubling in CS and math. It's definitely doable, and it's not at all a burden to me. And honestly, like the grades everybody gets in those classes and in our classes, it's it's actually like it's a grade booster, honestly. Like nobody, like, as you have to like kind of like everybody's very understanding, and yeah, as long as you put in like the right amount of effort, it's never going to be too overbearing. So yeah, I'd say it's definitely doable.
It looks like there's a question about the 15 required credits for ACES. Do they count towards the overall graduation requirement for UMD? They do. So they will count towards your overall credit requirement. Several of the ACES courses, particularly those seminar courses, the HACS 208 courses, also have Gen Ed designations. So you can count some of those towards your Gen Ed requirements and towards completing your ACES citation and towards your overall required credits for UMD. So it's kind of a win-win-win if you're doing it that way.
So we got a question here. It says, since the cybersecurity program and ACES are two different programs, is it possible to work towards both at the same time? If so, is it worth it? I'm going to assume the cybersecurity program you're referring to is the ACES minor. If that's the case, then yes. Or sorry, it's worth it in the fact that, again, it grants you the knowledge and background to help you take the future courses of the ACES minor. And I believe you skip some requirements. But to work it at the same time, generally, is possible depending on the amount of university credits you've gotten and how much you're taking per semester. If you're taking a lot like I am right now, then you could probably start in your sophomore year, probably spring semester, as Cassie said, or freshman year, or not freshman year, sorry, fall semester. And in that case, yeah, you could take both at the same time. But again, it depends on your situation and whether or not you get accepted, because it is a competitive application process. Next question is it difficult to get into the ACES LLP as a freshman? What goes into choosing as the new ACES students? As you said, only 85 first-year students get admitted. So I don't know what the criteria is. Cassie, do you want to handle this one? Maybe you know better.
Yeah, I can talk about this a little bit. So it is a competitive process to get into the ACES Living Learning Program. What goes into choosing new students is pretty complex. We are reviewing folks' applications to the university. One thing that I will say, or my, I guess, tip or advice to you, is to take your preferencing form seriously. So there's a question on the preferencing form that asks you about what you're interested in related to the ACES program, or why ACES would be your top choice for an LLP. Take that seriously. Tell us if you have cybersecurity experience. You certainly don't have to have cybersecurity experience to do well in ACES. But if you do, mention that. If you're passionate about learning cybersecurity, tell us about that. That is really helpful in us determining what might make someone a great fit for the ACES program, among the various other things that were a part of your application to the University of Maryland. So it's a pretty individualized process in terms of making sure that we're reviewing everybody's entire application. And it is competitive, but if you're interested in learning more about cybersecurity, exploring that world, it's definitely doable, as evidenced by Anushka and Gianfranco being here today, right?
It's, yeah, doable.
Yeah. So another question, what did you guys like about your ACES exclusive career fair? So what I liked about it, it was just really a good first experience in like, going out there and seeing like the corporate partners. It was just a really good like career step, especially so early on, like a couple of weeks into my freshman year. It was just a really great learning experience. The resume curation and everything that led before, it really prepared me in order to like succeed in the job market. I think it was just, and compared to the overall like CS career fairs, it's also a lot smaller. You get more chances to talk with people. It's, yeah, so if anybody wants to add on, but yeah, I really like the experience.
All right, there's a question that says, is this the best honors program for computer science majors? Now I'm a little biased asking if you're going to ask me. I think ACES is a great combination if you want to major in computer science. However, there are a lot of other computer science majors and other LLPs, UH specifically, since it's one of the bigger honors programs. The reason why I chose ACES specifically is because since, you know, as you guys obviously know, I do want to major in computer science. It just meshes well for myself because I do want to study cybersecurity. I feel like I would benefit a lot from the opportunities ACES give me and the professional network they have here, as well as the career affairs that you might not see in other programs. At ACES, it's kind of more tailored at the fact it's a professional networking opportunity. There's a lot of those around here. And some of the honors, other honors colleges, you might not have that same opportunity. So you just got to weigh those factors as well. It's not just if it's technical as well as what professional opportunities can offer as well. Next question is, would you say the workload is overwhelming? I think we had this question already, but again, I don't think so. And actually, there is someone that is majoring in CS and doing astronomy as a minor, and she's doing great. So don't sweat it.
Lots of ACES students double major, whether they come in with like the intent to double major or they pick one up along the way. That's very common, or picking up minors along the way. It is very much so doable for you to double major and succeed in ACES, or major and then select a minor and succeed in the ACES LLP, for sure.
Next question. How many electrical engineering students are a part of ACES? Don't know the exact statistic, but I definitely, I know a couple, and I also know a chemical engineering student. So yeah. Next question. Are the courses that are a part of the ACES LLP available to students not in ACES? I don't believe the LLP coursework is available to the wider UMD community. Yeah.
So if you're in ACES, you can take them. Otherwise, you might not be able to. The only other opportunity is a ACES minor, in which you also have to apply to. And then another question. How many students generally apply for the ACES program? I'm not too sure of the statistic, to be honest. Cassie, do you know, perhaps?
So it varies from year to year. It is a competitive process. There are quite a few students that preference ACES, that apply or are interested in ACES, both the LLP and the minor every year. So you should go into it assuming that it's a competitive process, but again, totally doable. Many students get into ACES. So it's not impossible by any means, but it is competitive. So take it seriously.
Yeah, next question. Do you want to handle this?
You can take it.
All right. This question says, are there community building activities? Yes, there's unorganized and organized ones. The organized ones are pretty cool. Just the other day we had s'mores outside, and we were just chilling around, we're enjoying the weather, and as well as cooking some s'mores. But there's some more unorganized ones that you'll find more often, is which, like the video specified, there's some 3 a.m. pizza runs, just hanging out with your friends in the lounge, going out, really grabbing food, or maybe even heading out to parties sometimes. But I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. And then, are you able to share with us about your 2 favorite classes in ACES? Being a freshman, I haven't taken enough classes yet, but I'm hoping to take this reverse engineering class. This seems pretty exciting, and I really enjoyed the public policy one, just because it explains to how the government approaches cybersecurity emergencies and how what is their perspective when it comes to handling incidents, really.
So there's one question about when enrollment results are announced. I'm not sure when that is. If if Chantal wants to take that on, but yeah.
What was the question again?
When are enrollment results announced?
Oh. So as far as being notified about which living learning program, you'll probably find that out early March. Probably by the first, I would say no later than the second week.
Yeah, so there's another question. If your original UMD application is considered when with the application to ACES, no, it is not. It's just the honors preferencing form because you already got into the honors college. That is the only thing that's considered during your application.
We have access to other portions of your application that we take into consideration, but the preferencing form is super duper important.
My bad, sorry.
And then we have a question: is, have you guys taken part in the CTFs or any other cybersecurity related competition ACES does? So just as Cassie mentioned, there is a club that we partner with, the UMD Cybersecurity Club. I am a part of that club as well, and yes, we have participated in CTFs. They're pretty fun. They're usually, it's pretty easy to enter. They don't expect you to have any background knowledge, and they give you resources to teach yourself, or sometimes they may teach you skills that help you perform even better in the CTFs, really. And then what programming languages and operating systems are used in ACES class? So far, I've encountered with Bash and Unix. Bash is more of a scripting language, really. And then you have, you're going to be learning really Unix and Linux commands and how to manipulate them in terms, And operating systems, all are welcome: Windows, Mac, and Linux. No need to shy from those.
Yep, sometimes ACES students will ask like, oh, what computer should I bring? Those types of questions. You can use whatever is your preference, whatever makes the most sense for you.
Yeah, I could take on another question. Sorry. Okay. What else besides learning Linux scripting do you do? So right now in Hacks 101, we are primarily just doing Bash, but in Hacks 100, we did learn a lot of current events in cybersecurity and just the general scope of cybersecurity, why cybersecurity is important. We used to have weekly debates, which were really fun. And you just get to learn a lot about cybersecurity as a whole, apart from just the technical side. So I think that's something that was really informative and really, really cool. So yeah. How are the internship? Oh,
sorry. Just wanted to add on that you do get your feet wet when it comes to reverse engineering and handling whatever software is related. I believe C. When you take one of those reverse engineering seminar, but that's not so for a little bit until you take computer science 216 if you decide to do that. Sorry, Nishka, go ahead.
No problem. So how are the internship opportunities? What are some of the most common companies which recruit from ACES? Also, does anybody have any personalized internship experience which they could speak to? So I personally have not secured a summer internship yet, but ACES does provide a lot of opportunities to get that first year internship. For example, the first year, the exclusive career fair in the beginning of the year, you get the opportunity to share your resume with a lot of different companies that ACES has partnerships with. And also internship opportunities almost like every week are given out in the ACES Monday emails. You'll get a lot of opportunities to apply. But yeah, if anybody has any, Gianfranco, if you have any like personalized, no. Right.
No, sorry. I've been kind of spending. I quickly found out coming to ACES that it's a lot of professional development, and I've been just reworking my resume day to day, honestly. So, and that's great because ACES gives you a lot of experiences within the courses and from the other students you'll meet who may have internships. There are a couple people on my floor, in fact, who've gotten internships to several places, such as Salesforce or Grumman, NSA. I'm just one of the ones that are still continuing to work my professional side, just making sure it's better, revamping it.
I will say ACES students intern at a lot of different places. So it's a pretty wide variety. Certainly our ACES corporate partners have interns from the ACES program. Specifically, the NSA has 6 positions that are reserved exclusively for ACES students every summer for non-cleared experiences. So if you're interested in working for the NSA, that's a really great opportunity for folks to apply to or potentially apply to. So definitely like I said, our corporate partners, those positions that are held at NSA, but we also have students go to places like Zillow and Lockheed Martin and Leidos and Raytheon and Innovation. So it really spreads both public and private industry.
Next question says, do you guys know anyone doing co-ops? Sounds stressful. I personally do not know any. Sorry. Perhaps you know, Anushka?
No, I do not. I do know that there's a lot of opportunities to do that. I personally applied for one. Hopefully, decision coming out soon, maybe. But yeah, don't know. But yeah, I do know a lot of people who applied for internship in the winter, not necessarily a co-op because it happens during your winter break. It's a really great experience if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of CS experience and want to get that first experience working in the corporate world. It's really great. But yeah, that's just one opportunity I know of that I share. Some more questions. How is the program gender breakdown? Is it close to 50-50 or is it more male dominated? Yeah, surprisingly, ACES is very 50-50. There is a good amount of women in STEM in ACES, so that's definitely not an issue in ACES.
I'm also going to do a shameless plug because I am the very proud advisor of the Women in Cybersecurity Club on campus. And so we are excited to help women in the ACES program join that group and have some affinity space with other women who are focused on cybersecurity. And it is a national organization, so you have some really great professional networking opportunities there as well.
We have a question is, what is a dorm experience like? Wait, sorry, Anushka, you want to say something first?
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's really great. It's like one of the best dorms on campus. It's really, yeah, one of the highlights of the ACES program, honestly. Yeah, you can add on.
The dorm, like I've said this before, I personally enjoy the dorm experience. You have your own, essentially when you walk in, there's going to be a lounge and a study lounge, and then just the hallways. The study lounge is usually, there's all the people studying there, busy doing their work and whatnot. The lounge is more kind of a recreational area. There's a TV there. We play, someone brought in the TV, started playing some games like Smash on there. Other times people are just relaxing, chilling, talking to each other. There's like plenty of couches and seats and tables to make yourself get used to and accustomed to. But oftentimes at these dorm experiences, like you're just going to be finding new people that share similar interests to you, like I said before. And then very quickly you're going to develop a bigger connection, a bigger network, which you'll reach out later on in life. Because these people also have aspiring ambitions that they want to achieve like you do. And so it's a great, from this dorm experience, you're essentially creating an awesome network that you can later use on for your life, for your professional career, which I find fascinating. Seems like there's no other questions.
I'm going to drop a link in the chat. There on the ACES website, there's a fun virtual tour of Prince Frederick that was done by a few former ACES students. So if you're wanting to learn more about ACES in general, there's some fun cameos in there, but it also is a great opportunity to take a closer look at P. Freddy.
Anyone else has questions they want to ask? Seems like.
There was a question about what is a co-op?
Yeah, so a co-op, essentially, from what I know, is it's an opportunity to work alongside being a student. I don't know if anybody has more specifics they'd like to pass on, but yeah.
That's good enough. What piece of advice would you give to incoming students? I personally would say, try to leave your room, honestly. Try to leave your room as much as you can and interact with as many people as possible, because you never know who you're gonna find out very quickly that these people, you're gonna be living with these people for 2 years, first of all. So you're gonna be seeing them day to day. So it's good to be friends with them. And learn a little bit about them, who they are, what they're doing, what they want to achieve too. Just because you never know, maybe it'll coincide with your own goals, or maybe it's a great person to hang around with. But just don't forget about your studies. That's incredibly important, because while you're in ACES, you have to keep I believe a GPA higher than 3.25 to stay in ACES. So.
Yeah, on a similar note, I just say, let go of your inhibitions, I guess. Try new things and try to just talk to everybody, because everybody's in the same boat as you. Everybody is, meeting new people for the first time. And it's just, yeah, embrace every moment. Yeah. Another last question, I guess. Is it easy to meet with advisors regarding classes to take? Also, your professors, should you need additional help? In terms of, advisors, it was a pretty easy process for me. I was in letters and sciences in the first semester, so it's easy to it's pretty easy to meet up with them, and you have to meet up with them pretty regularly in order to just catch up, see which classes you need to take next to fulfill your requirements. So I haven't had any issues with that thus far. And your professors, should you need any help? Yeah, so all my professors have been very helpful. They all have office hours. There are a lot of TAs usually. They have office hours if should you need any help, and this just applies for all the courses I've taken thus far. So yeah.
And to add on to that, they're usually it's just an email away. I mean, like Anushka said, you could just email your advisor if you want to talk to them about something real quick, let them know, so maybe even send them an update as to how you're doing. And for your professors, especially at ACES, they're a resource. Some of them even said them themselves that they're a resource that you guys can use for scholarships, for letters and whatnot, even for professional networking. Just spoke with one of my professors for my seminars asking if I could apply to this position at the Department of Defense. So all of it, it's all at your fingertips. The only thing that's stopping you is if you just ask. If you don't ask, you'll never be able to use them. Were you letters and sciences for your fall semester? Anushka said she was, I believe, right?
Yes, I was in letters and sciences, and this semester I transferred over into CS, and I also added math to that. But yeah, I was in letters and sciences.
I'm currently still in letters and sciences. I still have to finish my gateway prereqs. I'm currently have one class left after this semester though. I should be in though. Hopefully if I get in.
All right, y'all. It is 6:55, which means we are coming towards the end, or we are at the end of our time together this evening. It's been a pleasure talking with you all about ACES. Thanks to Anushka and Gianfranco for your time. You all are incredible. Got some expert advice this evening. If you have further questions about ACES website, aces.umd.edu. You can also email us aces@umd.edu, very convenient. And check out the ACES Instagram for more of our goings on. We look forward to reading through your applications and preferencing forms if you think that ACES is a good fit.